Yo, what is going on, everybody? This is RBT and welcome back to another Madden 18 experiment. Just like yesterday, we're going to be combining two NFL teams and see how they do throughout a season. Yesterday, we did the Pittsburgh Steelers and the New England Patriots, the two best teams in the AFC, see how they ended up doing with their two teams combined. And today, we're flipping the switch and we're going to be combining the two worst teams in the NFL from the season. Obviously, the Cleveland Browns, because they're always one of the worst teams in the NFL. And surprisingly, the New York Giants, who had the second worst record in the NFL. And see if maybe they get combined into one team, they can actually have a successful season. Doing this just like yesterday because you guys actually really did enjoy that video, and I find these type of experiment videos very interesting to do and interesting to make. So hopefully you guys do enjoy this one just as much as you enjoyed yesterday's video. And if you did, make sure to drop a like. Let's see if we can smash 2,000 likes once again on today's experiment video, and I will continue this little mini series on the channel, and I'll do two different teams for tomorrow's video. And let me know which two teams you want to see me combine in the comment section below to have a chance to be featured in tomorrow's video. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new and turn on the notification bell if you haven't. But with that said, let's go over the combined team of the two worst NFL teams, the Cleveland Browns and the New York Giants, and see if they can make a half-decent team. With that said, looking at the Cleveland Browns, which is the team that we did use, Eli Manning is going to be the starting quarterback, and for some reason the ratings change a little bit when you change players to different schemes, which is whatever the Brown scheme is, and Eli goes from like an 82 to 80, but he's a little bit better quarterback than they currently have in 75 overall Deshaun Kaiser. Now running back, it's Browns running back in Isaiah Crowell, and the only Giant running back I think I added to the team was Orleans Darkwa, but he is the third stringer. Now fullback, it's currently going to be Danny Vitale because he's just there. At wide receiver though, it's a pretty big improvement from what the Browns currently have. So they have the additions of Odell Beckham Jr., Sterling Shepard, Brandon Marshall, they have Corey Coleman, and Josh Gordon, who is currently on the team. Now at tight end, another improvement here. Evan Ingram added to the team, which I now just realized they actually have two of the best rookie tight ends in the NFL, Evan Ingram and David Njoku. So that's pretty cool. Also have a pretty good third stringer in Seth the Valve, and also Rhett Ellison added from the New York Giants. Now moving on to the offensive line. Joe Thomas is going to anchor the offensive line. Ereck Flowers, who all Giants fans absolutely love, is the second stringer. Now, left guard, Joel Bitonio stays as a starter, but Justin Pugh comes over from the Giants to be the backup. At center, they have Weston Richburg, who does come from the New York Giants, with J.C. Treader, the current Brown center, as the backup as well. At right guard, it's a current Brown, Kevin Zeitler, backed up by DJ Fluker, who is a Giant. And at right tackle, they have Rod Johnson, who is on the Cleveland Browns. And once again, Ereck Flowers. And I think the other guy from the Giants was Bobby Hart, who's going to be the backup. Now moving on to defense, it's kind of a mix and match between the Browns and Giants. Myles Garrett is going to be the starting left end. Jason Pierre-Paul is the backup. At right end, it's Olivia Vernon, who is the starter. And so Jason Pierre-Paul, which is crazy, is not going to be a starter from this team. At defensive tackle, Damon Harrison Jr., who comes over from the Giants, so it's going to be a pretty stout defensive line. Dalvin Tomlinson as the backup with Danny Shelton, Larry Ogunjobi, and Jamie Metter. Now at the linebacker positions, we have Jamie Collins backed up by Devin Kennard, so it's a Cleveland Brown backed up by a Giant. At middle linebacker, it's once again a Cleveland Brown, and the linebacker is probably the least talented positions from the both teams being combined. Joe Sherbert's a starter backed up by B.J. Goodson and Mark Herzlich, who are both New York Giants. At the right outside linebacker position, once again another Cleveland Brown, Christian Kirksey backed up by Keenan Robinson. Now the cornerback position is pretty stout. A lot of depth and a lot of experience here. Jason McCourty, Janoris Jenkins, Brian Body Calhoun, DRC, Jamar Taylor, Eli Apple, and Ross Cockrell. Now at free safety, nothing too crazy. Darian Thompson is the starter, and he comes over from the Giants, but at 72 overall, not too impressive. But the strong safety is pretty impressive, with Landon Collins coming over from the Giants, backed up by Derek Kindred, who probably should be the starting free safety if he is high enough overall. He's an 82 overall, so why not start him instead? That would just make the most sense. Now moving on to kicker. It is I think the kicker and punter are both New York Giants, and they are. Just like in last video, it obviously is over the roster cap, so we are going to sim the regular season and see if any of these players, just for some reason or another, get cut. Last video, I think we had one player get cut that was a Patriot, and actually I think it was Mike Gillisley. There will be a link to that video in the description box below if you do want to go check that out. The results were pretty freaking interesting. Let's check out the free agents and see if any of the players from the team got cut. Obviously, if they got cut, they're not good enough. But it looks like nobody, at least notable, got cut. So nobody over a 70 overall got cut from the team. Ereck Flowers, of course. This is a freaking meme. Of all players to get cut by the CPU, Ereck Flowers, that's just beautiful. I think Giants fans are rejoicing at that. That's actually hilarious. That's actually so funny. I'm not laughing, but really that's actually hilarious. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and advance to the playoffs. I want you guys to let me know how you think this team does in the comment section below. And we're also going to look at the New York Giants and see how bad they do, because it's the New York Giants who are already bad enough without their best player, so they probably will go 0-16, but crazy things have happened. So you guys let me know in the comment section below how good you think this Cleveland Browns / New York Giants team is going to do. I think they make the playoffs, nothing too crazy. I'll say 9-7, and they barely squeak it in with a wild card berth. Let me know what you think in the comment section below record-wise, and I'm going to say the Giants go 0-16. I was spot on in yesterday's video when I said the Steelers, without their best players, now on the Patriots, went 2-14. I was correct. But let's see if we can get both of these correct in today's video. So 0-16 for the Giants, 9-7 for the Browns. Let's see how close I can get. Funny enough, how hilarious. The Cleveland Browns and the New York Giants combined into one team don't even make the playoffs. That's sad. That is actually sad. I mean, nobody regressed or progressed, so it's probably close to an 8-8 or 9-7 season. Maybe just did not make the playoffs. And I was close. Went 8-8. So that's funny. That is so funny. Browns don't even make the playoffs with them combined with the Giants. That's hilarious. That's about as hilarious as Ereck Flowers getting cut. So I want to also see how bad the Giants did. I'm expecting them not to win a game all season long. Any notables up here really quick? The Eagles had the best record. Jaguars second best record. Unfortunately, it looks like my Titans didn't make the playoffs. That's sad. They actually had an awful year. The Jets made the playoffs, which is not that. Okay, that is strange. The Patriots had the same record as the Browns and Giants combined. That's weird. And my Titans went 5-11. That's sad. And the Giants actually won a game. That's hilarious. I want to see who did the Giants beat. That's the Giants. Who in their right mind would lose to the Giants without their best players? Like their quarterback, Davis Webb. Who did they beat? They beat the Rams. That just randomly beat the Rams. That's funny. Now, how did the Browns actually do? Who did we lose to, and were some of our losses close at least? And it does look like a lot of our losses did come pretty close. That was a touchdown loss. Beat a couple pretty good teams. Lost by 3. Beat my Titans. Lost to the Vikings by 4. Lost by 3, by 6, by 2, by 8, by 6. So our biggest margin of loss was by 8 to the Chargers, which is hilarious because I did that video a couple months ago where I thought the Chargers were favored in simulations and the Browns were not favored in simulations, and it turned out to be an awful experiment. But once again, it kind of shows a little bit of bias here, as the only team to beat the Browns by more than 7 points was the Chargers. But crazy enough, if one of these games went a little bit differently, the Browns could have made the playoffs, but that's hilarious that they didn't make the playoffs. And let's look at the stats and see how they did statistically. Looks like the offense had a pretty good year. I mean, they should, with two teams combined. The 6th best offense in the NFL, and the defense is what let them down, which I kind of expected with the defense having no good linebackers. Came 14th best defense in the NFL. Now let's see who won the MVP. Pretty sure I saw it was Aaron Rodgers, and it was. Tom Brady came in 3rd, although the Patriots didn't have a great year. Did anybody in the Browns? Eli Manning, funny enough, he actually regressed to a 79 overall. Came in 8th place, and Case Keenum came in 10th in the MVP voting. Now let's look statistically, see how the team did. Eli Manning, no wonder, he had a great year. Had they only won 8 games? 40 touchdowns to 13 picks, only sacked 26 times, 4,400 yards, which is pretty incredible. Isaiah Crowell with a solid year, even Duke Johnson putting in 11 touchdowns on the ground, even Eli Manning getting 100 yards, and he's like one of the slowest quarterbacks in the league. Anyways, receiving-wise, Odell Beckham and Brandon Marshall, both Giants, clips 1,000 yards on the ground, almost Evan Ingram as well. He led the team with 12 touchdowns, which is pretty crazy. Defensively, Joe Schobert led the team in tackles. Maybe that's why they did so bad. In sacks, somebody had 19 sacks. Olivier Vernon had 19.5 sacks, and Myles Garrett had 11. And to put that in perspective, in yesterday's video, when you combine both the Patriots and Steelers defense, you had James Harrison, which is hilarious as well. He just got cut by the Steelers and signed by the Patriots. Combining those two teams, he led the team in sacks, but he only had 12. We have 2 players that almost had either as much or more sacks than James Harrison did in that video, with a team that did a lot better than this one. But also, just for giggles, I want to see how the Giants did statistically. So going to their offense, how bad did Davis Webb do? Well, I mean, he didn't do that bad. Got sacked a lot, but didn't do awful. Had 2,700 yards. And also, keep in mind, all the injuries are off anything. So every player that's injured in real life didn't go into this video injured. So anyways, rushing yards wise, that's bad. That's disgustingly bad. Their leading rusher had 2 rushing touchdowns. That's funny. That's really funny. Vincent Jackson, how did he end up? Is he already on the Giants, or they just signed him? Anyways, 964 yards and led the team with 4 receiving touchdowns. That's also equally bad. And defensively, their leading sack guy was Carl Nassib with 8 sacks, and the leading tackler ended up being Derek Rivers. That's not a good defense. And interception-wise, oh yeah, I forgot this too. Brandon Flowers led with 2 picks. And going back to the Browns, it looks like none other than Jason McCourty led with 5 interceptions. Now with that said, I guess there's really nothing too crazy to end off the video. I guess we'll just go ahead and sim to the Super Bowl, past the Super Bowl, and see who wins. And to end off today's video, the Super Bowl champion ends up being the Seattle Seahawks over the Jacksonville Jaguars. Well, this isn't going to happen in real life because the Seattle Seahawks didn't make the playoffs. But anyways, boys, hopefully you guys did enjoy today's experiment video. And if you did, make sure to drop a like. Let's see if we can smash 2,000 likes once again for another experiment video. Let me know which 2 teams you want to see me combine for tomorrow's experiment in the comment section below to have a chance to be featured in that video. Be sure to subscribe if you are new and turn on the notification bell so you do not miss any experiments on the channel. But with that said, I will catch you guys next time. Have a great rest of your day. Peace.